Hello, it's me again, Gabrielle. Good evening. It's now 6:17 my time. I would just like to take this time to expose and also deal with the roots of why we as females that grow into women, why we operate like we do. I'm going to help females out. Notice I said females and not women. There's a difference between a woman, a virtuous woman, a Proverbs 31 woman, and a female who's still in her little girl stages, whether she's 15, whether she's 21, whether she's 31, 45. It doesn't matter. Because some of us as females, and as we grow older into a woman, we still haven't had our little girl restored in us that's been damaged, that's been hurt, that is still bitter, that is still in ignorance, that is still operating as a loose woman or as a Jezebel. So that's some things we're going to talk about right now. And I just want to talk about and expose to the ladies, why are you still single? Let's deal with many reasons with that. Also, with that being said, a lot of times, you have females these days, not just these days, it's been going on for a while now, where you hear women say all men are dogs, or all the men locked up in jail, or all them homosexuals, or all of them go both ways, or all of them sleep around with any and everything that has a hole, just so many negative things, or he ain't about nothing, or he just like his cousin them, he just like Tyrone and Pookie them, all kind of different stuff. He don't deserve me, he's beneath me, or he's not worth me or my time. I'm tired of being single. I'm tired of my baby daddy, all that ghetto ignorant stuff. And not just with ghetto or ignorance, but just out of ignorance, period. So let's just deal with that right now. And right now, I'd like to take this time and say that too to the ladies. A lot of times, ladies, you're still single because you have not allowed God to deal with you. You hear a lot of men that say, she's a female dog, or she's a HO, or she's this, she's that. Women ain't no good. I've been hurt by plenty of females. Women just dog you out, stuff like that. But the thing is, you chose that woman. And by you're a free moral agent according to God. And when you chose to deal with that female that wasn't a woman yet, you actually asked for all that came with her, because she didn't belong to you. And if you desired somebody that you need to be with, you need to let God equip you first before you just go fornicating with this woman or fornicating with that married woman. Committing adultery. Because once you have sex with somebody that's married, that's adultery, not fornication. So excuse me. But with that being said, men, I'm going to help you out, and males that's in ignorance. When you're dealing with a woman and you choose a female that's not born again, she doesn't have God for real, you open up the door to attach and spiritually married to whatever's on her spiritually. And now y'all are spiritually married and soul tied, because you just illegally operated in the earth in sin, because we're not supposed to be fornicating or having sex before we're married. That's a sin, and God is not pleased with it. We're going to keep it real. And if you want to do it the right way and you desire to please God, you will wait for your mate, and you will know her. You will know when you know. There's not going to be a shadow of doubt in your mind. You're going to know her when you see her. There's just something that's going to click in your spirit, or some things about her that's going to cause her to stand out and be pointed out to you in the midst of all the other women as well. With that being said, ladies, if you desire a mate or a companionship, which is the root of it, you desire companionship, a mate, and also to be intimate. You know what I'm saying? Because we all are designed for connection. We are designed for connection. That's why we desire the opposite sex, like we do. There's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, where it becomes a sin is when your thoughts become a sin. When you start lusting, that's when we got a problem. It's okay to think someone is attractive or beautiful, but when you go to thinking sexual thoughts about them, and when you go to conjuring up stuff and what you want them to touch on and lick on and all this other stuff, suck on, we got a problem. Now you done crossed the line. Now you're sinning, and God is not pleased with that. We need to deal with that if you're willing. Okay? With another thing said, ladies, if you're still single and however old you are, 18, 20 something, I'm 28. If you're my age or if you're older, maybe and you're still single and you're trying to wonder out why, here's my answers to help you out. First of all, Have you allowed God to deal with your past? Have you allowed God to deal with the little girl in you? Are you restored as a little girl also as well? Because if you're not, we need to allow God to deal with us in those areas as women. You have to let that little girl be restored, delivered, and set free from whatever you were hurt by when you were little, whatever made you angry, whatever made you bitter, whatever caused you to have unforgiveness, whatever those people or those family members did to you, or that friend or that enemy did to you. I guarantee you, God does not want you to carry that into your relationship, companionship, your marriage. He does not want you to do that. And he's not going to allow you to be with the man of God you need to be with until you allow him to deal with you and deliver you and set you free, because that will destroy you, not only you, but your marriage and you all's children that's to come forth. So with that being said, we need to deal with that, ladies, as women. If we say we're women, especially if you're claiming to be a woman of God, let's deal with the deep stuff, the brutal stuff, the ugly stuff in us that needs to be dealt with, that we choose to hold on to. Because when you get a certain age now, you can't keep blaming your past. You can't keep using that as an excuse for people to feel sorry for you and be selfish and have self-pity. Now we just got to be real and say, look, I'm holding on to this stuff. It's me holding on to it. It's no longer holding on to me anymore. And I want deliverance from it. Because one thing about God, he's not going to bless you in your mess. You got to get your heart right. You got to let God get rid of that ugly stuff, the stuff that's hurting you, the stuff that's thorns in your heart. Every time you see that person or those people or your ex, whether it was a man or a woman, whoever it was, nobody's here to judge you, but we need to get that dealt with as women. Another thing, you can't keep blaming a male for when you the one who appeared to be a rug to him. You actually opened that door and said you can walk on me. You open that door. Just because you open your legs and fornicate with a man does not mean he's going to marry you. Does not mean you're going to be the only one. First of all, if he was a man in the first place, he will respect you and make you respect your own self. And that will either cause you to line up with God or either fall off and keep going in your sin and later on die. A spiritual death first, and then a natural death. Okay. So with that being said, you have to carry yourself as a lady. If you don't know what it is to be a lady, I understand. I've been there. But you have to be willing at a certain age and time when you know right from wrong and say, look, Lord, I want to know what it is to be a virtuous woman. And not just a virtuous woman, but a virtuous woman of God. I want to know what that is. I want to be disciplined. I want to be discipled. That has to be your heart. I want my mind to be transformed and renewed. As a lady, that should be our hearts. Now if you don't want all of that and you don't want to get discipled and disciplined and you don't want to be that flesh to die daily and be crucified, this ain't for you then. But if you're looking for somebody with the same spirit as you, with lust, perversion, with the Jezebel spirit, with the gospel and the backbite and all that, find somebody else, because this is not the one. This is Gabrielle. And I have God for real, and I don't play about this. When it comes to lady etiquette, when it comes to being a virtuous woman and wife of God, I'm all about that, and I'm serious about it. I will love on you, but at times I will be firm with you. With that being said, as ladies, we need to get ourselves together first. You cannot point the finger at others when you are the problems within ourselves. We have to deal with ourselves. Yes, that male may be that way, or yes, he may have hurt you or beat you and abused you, but did God tell you to deal with that male? Did he tell you that? Did he say that was your mate? Because I guarantee you heard God warning you, whether it was in the natural signs or him talking in your ear or in your heart, dealing with your heart about it. You felt the conviction. You knew it was wrong. But guess what you did? You was rebellious and you bucked against God and his authority, and you went on and did what your flesh wanted to do because he looked good, because he can make his chest muscles jump, or because he smiled a certain way and his dimples showed, because he got pretty brown eyes, and when he turned this way in the water, his head looked like he mixed with Indian. Whatever it is that caused you to be drawn to him, or because you heard he was big or well endowed downstairs, or he's on an athletic team, or he's a college guy, or he's in the NFL, or he got money, or he's very smart, or he's in the fraternity. Whatever the reason is that you got with this guy, it was not good or pleasing to God, but you did it anyway, and because you chose to, now this is why you had caught the disease. This is why you almost caught a life-threatening disease. This is why you had a baby or whatever, or many babies. We got to stop this. We as ladies cannot keep fornicating and open ourselves up and our legs to males and expecting them to respect us when we don't even respect or love ourselves. How can we expect something from somebody else when we don't even have that in ourselves or sow that seed to others? So we as ladies have to be real with ourselves. Do we love ourselves? Because if we love ourselves, we wouldn't deal with and compromise the way we do with males. A matter of fact, we will be patient and wait on the Lord and seek him in his presence and let that man of God find you in God's presence. Okay? Be like Ruth was with Boaz. She was not in the strip club stripping. She was not at the exotic male clubs, doing whatever God knows what, because what goes on in sinful areas. Let's keep it real. Nothing, no good thing. She was not hanging with her girlfriends, fighting and being ghetto and ignorant. No, she was not. Ruth was humble. She submitted herself. to authority. Okay, she submitted herself. She wasn't out there with her breasts all out, with her thongs on. She wasn't out there bending over so men could see her booty cheeks. She was not doing little moves and saying she want to mate, but presenting herself as a lustful Jezebel. She was not doing all that. She was covered up in a beautiful way. And when Boaz saw her, he saw her for who she was. He was not studying the other women who was out there in the field and all that other good stuff. She was positioned. And as ladies, we must get positioned. You cannot expect to get a mate when you are out of place yourself and you won't even let God deal with you about you. What's ugly in us, what needs to get restored, what needs to be healed in our hearts, who we need to forgive, even including ourselves, because we're not supposed to condemn ourselves. Condemnation is of Satan. It's from Satan. But ladies, I encourage you. It's not hard. It's not hard. Just take time, get in private with God before he exposes you in public and you be alone and bitter by yourself. Because of your own ways, your own stubbornness, your own rebellion. Don't be like that. I encourage you and I encourage you to submit yourself to God. Come back to your first love. Let him love on you. He is your husband. He's your everything. He's I am. That's what his scripture says. He says, I am, I am. Everything we see, including whatever you need. You cannot be a mother and a father. That's another thing. We got it bad in the world with this perversion thing. You can be the mother and father. No, that's a spirit of perversion, because there's no way possible a man could be a woman and a mother. There's no way a woman could be the father and the mother. No, you're a woman for a reason. Okay, we got to do things in order. The man is the head, the woman is next, and then the children. You are a woman for a reason. You cannot be a father and be a man and think like a man or think you are the man and teach your son how to be a man. No, that's a man's position, okay? He is the head. If you don't have a father figure in the home, okay, you're not the only one. There are people in worse situations where they don't have a father or mother. So with that being said, let's stop being selfish, okay? So with that being said, if you don't have a father figure in home, if you're not born again, get connected to a body of believers. I guarantee you, God has some awesome and wonderful men of God there of all ages that will help you concerning your son or your sons. Okay? If you are a father and you're not born again and you're not connected to a ministry, you have daughters and you need help, you cannot be the mother because they are females for a reason. You cannot understand us. We change all the time. We have so many different mood swings, so many different things we need done. It's just so much about a woman you don't understand that it will take for you to use wisdom and say, let me get connected and get some spiritual help. We don't want to get worldly help because first of all, they go by their flesh and their opinions. And if you want to be real, look at their life. Okay? If they're not showing the fruit, no good fruit, why are you following that? If it's not lined up with the word, why are you following that? If you choose to follow the world opinion over God's word, that means you need deliverance, because what the world say doesn't matter, and the world system is against God's system. So we need to get that dealt with. But if you want to continue to go the wrong way and not train your children up in the way they should go, not be patient and wait on God, let him equip you for that man or that wife, then hey, God bless you. My part is done here. I'm going to keep it real with you and be brutal at times and just be honest in love and wisdom, But with that being said, ladies, we have to get ourselves dealt with first, because change starts with us. You cannot affect a man by your inner until you let God deal with you and affect you. You have to do that. You cannot be clothed with your outer and think that's going to draw a man of God. A man of God is one to see your inner. Your inner has to speak volumes to this man of God, if you desire a man of God. If you don't, that's fine. That's between you and God, but don't keep up that complaining and backbiting and gossiping about men when you're not in your place as a woman, especially a woman of God. Get in your place, get positioned. Let God transform and renew your mind and get born again if you're not. Now, if you are saved and born again, and you're single and saying this stuff, check yourself. You need to do a self-check because something ain't right there, okay? Let God show you what's really going on with you. And from then on, you have a choice to stay in the fence and be rebellious, or get in line, line up, and get positioned for your mate. Until then, I encourage you women to go ahead and let God deal with you and change you, and change you. And the same goes for me. I'm single. I love it and I enjoy it. It's a beautiful thing. God is my I am. And I know my mate is going to find me in God's presence. So, with that being said, I count all joy and I pray and hope that you all are encouraged. Ladies, if you have any more questions for me, I don't mind answering them in the best way I can. If I don't know the answer, I got spiritual backup. With that being said, God bless you. I love you all, ladies. And I hope that you take this to heart. Seek God's face. Pray about it. Get born again if you're not. Get patience. Get an understanding. And have standards and morals. So be it.